Good evening, everyone. It's a rainy night in Portland. Just stepped outside for my evening cup of tea. Just before I came out here, I heard this motto on TV, or rather, a saying on a cartoon. Someone said, said it takes a strong man to stand up for himself, but it takes a stronger man to stand up for others. I guess that's pretty eloquently put, in the sense that often I meet people who don't have even the ability to stand up for themselves, and I feel bad for them, and I try to instill that as much as I can, that that knowledge that the person, it's all personal power, it's all how you perceive yourself. The way the world perceives us will never coincide directly with how we see ourselves. It's that ego that separates us from seeing who we really are. But if a person is strong enough to stand up for themselves in the face of adversity, in the face of others, trying to put them down or whatnot, a man learns to be tactful in the things that he chooses to acknowledge or argue about. In other words, pick your battles, I guess, would be a good way to put it. And the idea that when we learn to stand up for ourselves, we're stronger people. But at a certain point, we gain a strength which we can use for others, and we can use to help other people. In other words, if you're a confident person, you know who you are, and other people don't affect your ego, or they don't affect your self-worth or your self-esteem with their words, and you've learned to manage yourself, then it's my belief that as a human in our society, it's our obligation to use that to help others that we see that are less fortunate, that maybe don't have the self-esteem to get themselves out. And I'm talking about people who are abused physically, mentally, emotionally. And this is generally this goes as well as children. Maybe somebody doesn't want to speak up, the old "don't get involved, it's none of your business, you don't know what's going on." And often that's true. But I would never stand by and watch someone beat someone without saying something about it. Of course, I've learned to be tactful in that too. I'm not going to stop and try to break up a fight between a bunch of, a bunch of gangsters or something. I mean, you have to learn. Sometimes you don't know what's going on, but, when you see someone that's helpless, that's being beaten down, and not just physically, but verbally. So in this way, when I see people harshing each other online, or beating each other down, or, attacking someone's honest, heartfelt comment merely for their punctuation or something else, I know the buttons that people push. It's a whole new world of, it doesn't matter how well you speak. If you can't type out your words, people will attack you on it. So when you see people who are being abused or being, physically or verbally abused, step up and say something. Make it known that it's unacceptable for people to put others down. There are very few cases where putting another person down is, considered appropriate. In fact, I can't think of any offhand, but as I try not to draw any solid, this is good, this is bad, I'm sure there are a few cases where putting someone down, maybe in someone's best interest, but as far as I can see, 99% of, making others feel bad is for nothing better than to make the person feel good. And if making people feel bad is what makes you feel good, then maybe it's time to reconsider why that makes you feel good. It's an ego thing. So I'm finished here with my tea, and I'm going to go inside. I wish you all a good evening.